Bam Rodriguez is back in the ring, but now up at bantamweight this weekend in a big fight for him that possibly is setting up an even bigger one down the road today in the preview show. Now, how are we feeling about Bam Rodriguez at bantamweight? There's a lot of Bams there. There's a lot of the same sounds. How are we feeling about him? Because it very much to me, I don't know if you guys agree, feels like he's good enough, and therefore it doesn't really matter what weight he's at, obviously within reason.
Yeah, I think, well, he's even going into this fight in the weekend as the favourite, I think, but I was listening a bit earlier in terms of him, how he's been going up in the weight classes, and I think he's working with like quite a well-known sort of strength and conditioning coach that's really given him a structured program in terms of he's not just jumping up in weight for the sake of it. He's built in a very smart and calculated way, so I think he's going to come in this weekend very much feeling and looking like he fits that weight class, and his plan is to keep going through these weight classes. Now he'd be a 3-time world champion this weekend if he wins this, so, and I don't necessarily see this being probably the stop of his jumping up in weight throughout his career. I think he could probably go 1 or 2 more again, so always you've got that worry of how the weight jump is going to affect him. Obviously Vargas is more natural at the weight, he's a big puncher of that weight class as well, so there's always that risk and that worry, I suppose, but I think it'll be another dominant performance this weekend, and it'll just showcase again why he's regarded as one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world, because every time you watch him, he just seems to get better and better.
You talk about flag bearers in boxing. I think Bam Rodriguez can maybe count himself as one of them, because you look at the lower weights, normally they don't get as much attention as the other bigger weights in boxing, and sort of Bam has brought that attention to those weight categories as he's been moving through, and I won't be surprised if he gets through this on Saturday night, then drops back down and unifies the division below again at 115, and then perhaps kick on again. Maybe
I think he stays at this
I think
maybe
I disagree entirely. I think this is a step.
Didn't Maloney last weekend fight for the IBF win? That's a winnable fight, and it's only £3 difference. So
yeah, but I think once you make that step,
I think he's going to fight the other champion.
It's a long-term plan, isn't it? To jump up in weight. These guys don't just go, oh, Joe, actually, I don't really fancy making.
But you can afford to do that with the lower weights, though, can't you?
Yeah, no, still, to compete at the very top, you still have to build that muscle naturally. And I think Vargas is a great opportunity as a first fight. He's been instated as the WBA champion, so the WBA title's on the line, even though he comes off the back of a draw, I believe. Another Texan, so there's a nice little bit of history there. But also, he's a fighter that is beatable. And Bam Rodriguez is undoubtedly one of the very best fighters in the world. The footwork, the way he creates angles to do his work against fighters is special. We've seen him pick apart people. We've seen him just bait people in and find that finishing shot. He kind of has done it all, and he's won fights in lots of different ways. And I see it being business as usual. He will turn up. He will go through the motion, through the paces, and then probably hurt his opponent in the mid to late rounds and probably get a stoppage.
It was a spiteful stoppage against Martinez last time out as well, wasn't it, in Riyadh? So, yeah, I expect the same. And it's interesting with Bam, because he seems like when he gets interviewed and all, and they talk about the future and where he sees himself, everyone is now comparing him to one name, and that's Inoue. And this seems like on Saturday night, if he gets through it, obviously he still has the flexibility of maybe perhaps dropping back down. I don't know if he'll do it. I think he could, and then move back up and just to win another world title maybe. But I think there's one name that Bam Rodriguez has been linked with continuously now for the last number of fights, perhaps since beating Sonny Edwards, and that is Naoya Inoue. That's the big mega fight now for Bam Rodriguez, and he's starting to talk about it. I saw the Ring Magazine podcast that they did a couple months back with him, and he was talking about that potential fight, that match-up, and how excited he would be to fight it. And I think he gets through this on Saturday night. If he looks good and he gets that stoppage win, which I think we'll save the predictions, but whatever happens there, if he does look good and he gets what we expect him to really get, then why not roll the dice? Why not continue building up? And fast track maybe to that big mega fight. And listen, you talk about big fights in boxing. That is one of the biggest fights in boxing because of the fact of those lower weight categories. If you said to someone a couple years ago, this weight category will be fighting live on Netflix, main eventing on Netflix, they would have laughed at you because they would have gone, there's no intrigue in these weight categories. There's no real big names, no real talent there. But really, you look at these two fighters coming through now, and if Bam Rodriguez can fight Inoue, that is, without doubt, the biggest fight in boxing at the moment, I think. If you look at the qualities of both men, the technicalities that it's phenomenal.
I would disagree it being the biggest. I would say it is undoubtedly the best.
It's not often you see, a bantamweight and super bantamweight being classed as like so much excitement around it. So I do get where you're coming from in terms of them lower weight classes. I think as much still as the fight would probably be more of an interest to hardcore boxing fans for an understanding of how competitive it would be between the two of them. I think it has got the potential to draw in a more casual boxing audience as well, just because of the size of the names really that they've built themselves towards, which you don't often see with fighters at bantamweight and super bantamweight. I can't really think of many other fighters around that weight class that have been involved in a fight over the last few years that have sort of gathered this much interest, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And we talked about it with the Inoue Nakatani fight, and obviously that was a massive fight, but it was absolutely mega in particular within Japan, and obviously that was because of the two Japanese fighters, their 2 pound for pound stars, etc., etc. So I do think it'd be a really, really big fight, but unfortunately the way the sport is, I think Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury is a bigger fight that more people care about. But that's wrong. That shouldn't be the case, but it is. It's the highest level fight in boxing, without a doubt. I know we said that about Nakatani.
We said about Beterbiev Bivol.
And Beterbiev Bivol's another thing that, when that first fight happened and the second one, those were the highest level fights available at the time. Bam Rodriguez, I think, will prove this weekend, as all the top fighters do. We saw it with Bud, we saw it with Nakatani against Inoue, that the weight category doesn't really matter when you've got the quality. It's a couple percentages off your performance in that first fight up, but if you're good enough, you kind of just adapt and you do the job, and I expect that will be the case in this one. And maybe with a little bit extra, not quite as much struggle making the weight, he might just feel like a little bit fresher in the ring, feeling a little bit more confident to let his hands go because he isn't dropping quite as much weight. So it might work well in his favour, but I think he wins this one, and then you are looking at a fast track of how can we get that Inoue fight, as opposed to how can I get an IBF world title against Maloney. I think the belts will strip him of his other titles after this fight. Now he's up at bantamweight, and then it's a case of, right, what is the most efficient route to Naoya Inoue? Probably for the end of 2027, I think, is the absolute latest you should be seeing that fight.
Yeah, I think he'd need probably another fight at least at this weight class, and I know Vargas is the champion going into this weekend with the WBA belt. But I can only see it being quite a tough night for him. He's going to have to start very fast, I think, and try and use his power very early to try and keep Bam Rodriguez honest and hopefully try and unsettle him a bit. So I think he'll just have to go in with a game plan of trying to jump on him quite early and just try and impose himself early. But I think that only leads you to being quite open and Bam figuring you out and finding those shots. But Vargas as well, as he's been dropped many times before. He's been stopped as well in the one loss that he did have. So yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult night for him, but you're coming up against one of the best fighters on the planet, and you obviously don't want to look forward too much with boxing, as we always say, because you don't want to plan ahead too much. But when you've got fighters of this class, you can see why people do it, and that Inoue fight just seems so exciting, and whether he could do an Inoue double header and go for Takuma as well, which is he's at this weight class as a champion. He won
WBC champion.
He won the belt back, didn't he? WBC belt back in his last fight. So to become a WBC champion in that weight class I'm sure he'd be looking at that. So that could be a potential option there, is you do that fight first, and then, like you said, you do Naoya Inoue at the back end of 2027. I think that's the way to go with it.
Beat the little brother and then go and fight the big brother. Here's a question for you both then. Bam Rodriguez, I saw in a podcast as well, he talked about the pound for pound rankings. And I know that you think that sometimes it's pointless talking about that, but he said when he found out that he was number 10 in that rankings, it was a sort of motivation that he wanted to continue to climb. I think he's situated number 4 now in the Ring Magazine rankings. I put him as number 4 in the rankings still. I think you probably got Inoue number 1, Usyk number 2, Shakur Stevenson number 3, maybe with an asterisk next to him, and then Bam Rodriguez, and then Bivol, and then whoever else follows. Do you think Bam Rodriguez can get to a position now in the next couple of fights where he can then be going, we've got in the sport the 2 pound for pound number 1 and 2 going at it against each other when they fight on, but I'm assuming it's Netflix from what they've rumoured, with Inoue. Do you think there'll be a chance for him to continue to build on that ranking from 4, or do you think there'll be an opportunity there where Bam just gets thrown in with Inoue straight away?
I to be honest, I think Bam's probably my number 3 already, rather than Shakur Stevenson. Just because I think the sheer dominance at the weight class, particularly at super flyweight that he was at previously, there was no one could touch him. No one could lace his boots in that division. No competitive fights in and around him. And I think that is a sign of a real pound for pound star. When you are at that weight and you look up a weight, you look down a weight, and you go, there's no one that gives him a competitive fight. And that's the way I saw it when he was at junior bantamweight. And now up at bantamweight, it is only another pound for pound star in Naoya Inoue, possibly Nakatani, that you look at as competitive fights for him. So I think he's my number 3. Maybe there's a world in which Usyk decides to retire from the sport, and therefore he would inherit that number 2 position, obviously now that Bud is retired as well. But I don't think it really matters. I think for me, you are looking at the best 2 in and around each other's weight division, like we saw with that Nakatani fight, and that fight delivered in so many ways. And I just think as well, like, more than ability, more than stature, more than all of this, is the styles. It is, you know, to see the fight, you obviously tend to look at their hands, but the real fight between Naoya Inoue and Bam Rodriguez happens at the feet. That is who wins that fight. Whoever has the better footwork. And footwork alone, I really don't know who has that better. Yeah. Naoya Inoue, I think, is a little bit more spiteful. He's maybe a little bit more flashy at times than Bam Rodriguez with in terms of his hands, but Bam Rodriguez, you know, walks circles around people with that footwork. So I just think it's such an exciting fight. They could fight in the pocket and still not be able to find each other. I just think it would be magic.
Be huge. But he's got to get through Saturday night first. Yeah. Which I think we all expect him to do quite comfortably, really.
I think it might take a little bit. I think he might just take the first few rounds and the earlier part of the fight just to kind of get a feel. I think it was.
But he's been out for 6 months now, hasn't he? So
that'll be building up at the weight physically. And I think Pat Brown said it when he turned over pro, and he said, "I just wanted to feel what an 8-ounce glove punch felt like." And I think for Bam, it's a case of, okay, what does a bantamweight, what does a 118-pounder feel like? Oh, that's what they feel like. Okay, cool. Let me work into this a little bit, and then do what he does best, take over that fight. Or maybe he will want to stamp his authority. I don't know, but it should be a win. It should be a win.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It's a good card as well, I think. There's a rematch in the co-main event, and then Turhan, I think Ben's favourite.
No, that's on a different card.
Is it?
Yeah, that's.
Oh, have I got the wrong card?
I believe so.
I
know I'm wrong. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, he's on that one.
Thank God.
I got it wrong. No, I was thinking of Tiara Brown.
She's fighting this weekend as well.
She's fighting on MVP. On the card, yeah.
One of the best fighters to watch. Forget female fighters to watch, Turhan. I think she's one of the best boxers to watch because you're always on your edge of your seat with her because she's got that power. And we've seen that power in the past when she fought over in Belfast, I want to say. Yeah, one of the most spiteful fighters out there.
Yeah, she's very unorthodox with the way she fights, but just the power she holds. And she does generally throw every punch with the intentions of trying to stop the fight. There's no sort of warming up to it. It's just straight from the get-go. She just wants to take your head off and just get the fight done with as quickly as possible. And I know people will look at her and her style and probably lack of technical ability and worry that when she comes up against someone who is, you know, technically superior, whether she'd be able to stick it out with them. But you've always got that danger of, no matter how technically good you are, if she lands one of those big punches on you, you're going to struggle to, you know, cope with that. And you've seen it in her last few fights, the fight with Ferreira, where she, you know, she backed her into the corner so many times and was just unleashing bombs, and just, she could not deal with it. So I would really like to see her in a fight with Caroline Dubois. I think it'd be such a good fight to watch. And I think Dubois, like I said, is technically good enough to probably navigate her. But again, it's that worry of if you get caught clean with one of those shots, and because they come from such awkward angles, it's not necessarily as easy, I don't think, to read them. So I think it could end up being a really entertaining fight and a good clash of styles. But yeah, hopefully she gets through this on the weekend and looks destructive again and gets another stoppage win to build that hype again for big fights going forward.
Yeah, it's obviously it's an unbeaten opponent for the IBF, and there is always a sense particularly in the female divisions, but even also in the male divisions, that world champions tend to just have this extra step, and it feels a little bit more elevated, a bit more evident in the female divisions, where the genuine world champions are just that little cut above the rest. So like you said, I expect us to get through this one, and I hope it's the same style as always. And yeah, the Caroline Dubois fight it's two people who are anti what is typically expected from female fighters in the best way possible. You know, I absolutely love the fact that they go in there and they fight and they punch and they hit hard and they hurt their opponents. It's exciting. If it's not Caroline Dubois, and I know Caroline Dubois will be looking, I think, for probably more commercially viable fights maybe than Turhan, but there is a title on the line, then for me, there's only one other opponent that I want to see, and you guys are smiling because you know who it is. It's a fan favourite on the channel, Bomi Ray-Shin.
That fight would be incredible.
It is unstoppable force versus immovable object. Yep. It is everything matchmaking-wise. And I think it would be a real litmus test for Turhan, because she might have to think, okay, how do I adapt what I do for 10 rounds, because she's not going anywhere. I'm not shifting her. Or is it a case of
such a good fight? I
am unstoppable and therefore I will shift her. I will find a way by nook or crook to shift her in the way that Baumgartner couldn't, in the way that Caroline Dubois couldn't.
That's what she did against Ferreira, weren't it? In Monaco, weren't it? Where everyone looked into that fight and went, Ferreira's the more technical, gifted fighter, and then sort of everyone was leaning towards her in that fight, and then out of nowhere, Turhan just bites down on that gum shield and always lands that shot. That fight that you just mentioned there, Turki Al-Sheikh, obviously a couple of weeks ago in Egypt, talked about the potential of a card in Istanbul in Turkey.
That would be
have her on the co-main event.
Ajit
Kabayel fighting for the WBC belt, because let's be honest, Usyk isn't touching Kabayel anytime soon.
You'd have thought not.
So Kabayel fighting for a world title, Turhan is that
would be such a good fight.
Unbelievable, wouldn't it? So yeah, I think she gets through this fight comfortably on the weekend.
Which fight would you rather see though, Dubois or Bomi Ray-Shin?
Shin.
I think maybe Bomi Ray-Shin.
I think Shin's the more entertaining fight.
Yeah, for the entertainment value, I think. Yeah,
because I do think that, like you say, Caroline Dubois is technically good enough and also spiteful enough and powerful enough to be able to work around, stay diligent, stay smart, work around those big shots and land her own good work. And we know that if she can catch you cold, then it's going to hurt, and there's a very good chance you'll go down. And I think maybe Turhan might reach her kind of her stopping point against Dubois. But also I think, like we said with Bomi Ray-Shin, she's not going anywhere. And when someone like that swings for the fences, as good as she may be, you can't do that for 10 rounds. As those rounds roll on, those shots are going to have less behind them. They're going to come slower. They're going to come from lower down, your hands are going to start dropping. And then someone like Omiri Shin, who isn't just a tough fighter, she has got ability to throw back, I think will possibly look to kind of weather the storm and then come back, Ali versus Foreman-esque, where you just kind of let them empty their tank and then see what work you can do. So, there's lots of entertaining fights in and around there. And really, whoever you match her up against will probably be entertaining because of the style.
I think Dubois and Baumgartner is the best fight to make in terms of for them too, but whether they're going to get that over the line, I'm not too sure.
In and out of the ring as well, I think, with Dubois Baumgartner as well. Yeah. I think that is exciting from fight announcement all the way to the end of fight night. Even on Twitter, nowhere safe, no one's safe in that build up. It will be, won't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I think that's probably the fight to be made.
All on one card, by the way, as well. So
yeah,
it's going to be very watchable in Phoenix on Saturday.
It's something, early Sunday morning for us. I think it would be one of those
Set
ones.
the alarm. Yeah.
Now the real question is, are you going to be spending your Saturday night watching Tommy Fury versus Eddie Hall as is being offered on DAZN? Is that what you're going to be using to fill in the boxing-sized gap in your life?
I like how you're asking me the question. Is
I
there
am.
something else I should be watching on Saturday night?
Not that I'm aware of.
No?
I'm busy
Not on Saturday night.
Should I do my best Eddie Hearn impression now?
No,
and
we'll
just
talk about. Well, do you? I'm saying.
no,
will
you're asking
be?
about
I'm genuinely asking. Will
Beauty
you
and the
be
Beast?
watching?
I thought you were talking about...
I'm
sorry.
genuinely asking. Will you be watching Tommy Fury Eddie Hall?
If you give me your logins for DAZN Ultimate, then yes.
Genuinely, you're going to watch that. I'm not. No judgment here. But as I said, and
You said it last week, and I think someone put in the comment section of this podcast was filmed outside your living room, you would shut your blinds as well. I think Cal said something along those lines. When it cheers, Cal.
Which is
Well done.
if you recorded your
And
podcast
the worst thing is about that comment that he made, over 10 people liked it, and those 10 people don't know that he's joking. Well, I hope he's joking, probably not.
He is joking.
Very serious person, Cal, but it's not... It's a circus. It's literally a circus. It's on the poster. It's in the trailer. It's a circus fight where someone could get seriously hurt. And I mean, Tommy Fury is fighting someone who, I don't know what the weight of Eddie Hall is nowadays, 25 stone maybe? I'm not being funny. I couldn't care what you think. If he lands a big shot, doesn't have to be...
Is it going to be a serious fight though? Or is it just going to look like a...
But if it is... My question is, though, if Eddie Hall somehow lands that overhand right with that much power behind him and weight behind him...
Have you seen Eddie Hall box, though?
I've seen him fight against that Fall guy,
No,
and he was a weird stance. A bit like Rico Verhoeven, but his one didn't work as well.
But the thing, you say the weight, and weight is a thing, but the momentum is speed times by force. And you can have as much force as you like. If it isn't coming with much speed, it's not going to hurt an opponent. It might knock him over. There might be enough power to knock him off balance. But for me, and the reason that I said that I have no interest in this, is because there is no world in which Tommy Fury should struggle in that fight at all. You can say what you want about Tommy Fury's own boxing ability. And,
he's not a serious fighter, is he?
And that's
Fury.
whatever. But there is no world in which Eddie Hall should cause him any problems. And if he does... then it's a damning indictment on him and his own abilities. And I just don't need to see it. There's so much good stuff happening in the realm of real boxing at the moment. Influencer boxing had its period, it had its time, and that was a time where genuine boxing was in a pretty poor place. That's not the case anymore. So we don't need to still go back. I have no genuine interest.
And it's lost a lot of interest, I think, as well, because Misfits this past weekend had a show, I think in Germany, weren't it, or something? They had a show, and I didn't even know anything about it. If that was 2 years ago, that would have been on DAZN pay-per-view probably. So, yeah, I think the crossover scene is slowly but surely going out the door, which is quite good, I think. This fight on Saturday night just proves the sort of motivations in Tommy Fury's career now, isn't it? He's found out that he'll never be a world champion. So how can I make as much money as possible by not becoming a world champion? And that's by taking these circus fights against fighters that shouldn't really be in the ring with him. And yeah, it's not a competitive fight at all. If it is, then I'll be shocked. But
where are they doing it?
Manchester, I think. So Ben made a good point though. How serious is it going to be? Because the real beef, I think, between Eddie Hall and Tommy Fury isn't there. It's Eddie Hall and John Fury, isn't it? So,
but this is just.
But no, that's what I mean.
No, that'd be a good fight. I'd pay to watch that.
It's just all fake nonsense for the sake of building up a fight.
Exactly, because they don't help each other with the fact that they were doing YouTube videos only a year ago with each other, Tommy Fury and Eddie Hall. So
they just needed a narrative for why they're fighting each other.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah,
I'd probably pay pay-per-view to watch John Fury fight Eddie Hall. I think
I'd
that would be quite
pay-per-view
funny,
to watch any fight with John Fury.
But I'm not watching this. It has no interest.
So
in me.
am I allowed you to zone Ultimate?
More than welcome to it, mate. More than welcome.
You don't
to
ask,
it.
you don't get. Eh?
So yeah, like we obviously.
Can I talk about another circus fight?
This is what I was going to say.
Come on, let's get on to the real circus fight this weekend.
Off the back of talking about how people who aren't very good at boxing should not get in the ring, I'd like to segue that nicely to the fact that this coming Saturday,
2 days out,
4:00 start for the event. Me and Ben are both jumping in the ring for a round with professional boxer Matt Lawrence, Starboy. Not my Starboy.
I'm undefeated as well.
Yeah, undefeated professional. He's doing an event live on Twitch. I think it's twitch.tv/Matt Starboy, if I remember correctly. I'll put it in the description. We're both doing a round with him, amongst him fighting 25 rounds with various amateur, former pros, various different people, and us two mugs. So
I can't believe he's willing to risk his unbeaten record against me. Fair play to him.
And you and Sam, let's not talk each other down. Are you two going to win? Let me ask you this question: are you going to win?
All jokes aside, I think I'm the only person turning up out to the 25 that's got no experience in terms of having a legal fight inside the ring.
Yeah,
let's not incriminate yourself now, Ben.
No.
Go on, now.
As I said to him, obviously you come from a part of the world where it's inherent.
Yeah.
You were born with a gum shield in. You came out laced up, and there was a corner man ready for you.
You should have told Matt though that you've actually boxed for a couple of years, because he probably.
I informed him. I said I've told him I want some smoke. No, it's a bit of fun. Obviously, the realistic answer is it's a bit of fun. It's a spar. No one actually wins. The fake answer is that I apologise to the 13 people that are lined up to fight him after me, because they're unfortunately going to have to go home without have had a spar.
Like it.
Because
go on,
the 12 round sparring challenge doesn't quite have the same ring to it. But that's unfortunately.
What's your plan for the fight? Are we talking game plans now? What are you going to do? Get in there? Are you on the back foot straight away, or are you just getting down to business? Because you've only got 3 minutes to work, mind.
I've given it absolutely no thought at all, but I don't need to.
How are you going to be feeling before it? We're 2 days out from it now. Tomorrow is weigh-in day.
Yeah.
Press conference is later today. I don't know if it's going to be streamed anyway.
I'm lucky I don't have to weigh in.
I was going to say me and Ben I think have the opposite problem. Ben's going to be cutting weight. I'm going to be eating.
No, but how are you going to be
stuffing
feeling?
Weights in my pockets just so they can let me.
Because you've had some sort of sparring sessions before, haven't you?
Sparred. Yeah, it's a bit of fun. I think as well. I think it will give us. The reason I said to him, I want you to give me a bit, is because I want to see firsthand how good they are. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd rather come out with a full set of teeth, etc. That's the plan. But
you got insurance?
Maybe. I hope so. Maybe travel insurance. Does that count?
Well, you're going to Bristol.
Does
for the
Bristol
day?
count as a holiday? Yeah. No. For me, it's I want to see what they got. I want to see a bit of that.
I want to see what you two got as well. I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah. So
I'm going to be like the male version of Turhan.
Is that okay. I think for anyone and everyone who's watched and listened for a while, and you want to see our boxing credentials, I mean, maybe we're setting ourselves up for failure there. Subscribers will half within the next 7 days after they see our performances. But yeah, it's going to be live on Twitch. The full commentary team, ring announcer, the lot. It's going to be a good fun event. And alternatively, if you really despise us, you really don't like our opinions, and you want to go and see us get punched in the face, then I think that's also an option. There's something for everyone.
Is there a video coming as well from the day?
I think
are you planning?
Yeah,
we'll document.
We'll try and put something. I didn't realise how serious we're going to be with the commentary team and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall I send over some 10 facts about both of you?
Just lie
that say that you're a. What's the nearest football team to Leeds that you don't like?
Chef Wednesday. Chef United.
Yeah, you're a United fan. But not the right
Blades.
one. Yeah.
No, not for me. Not for me.
And I could say that you're from Where's a posh part of Wales? Where can we put it? From
Abergavenny.
Abergavenny, from Abergavenny. Look at him today, mind. Turning up.
Collar on,
Dressed up
yeah.
all smart.
Look at it. Listen, he's dressed for business. I'm not being funny. If I was Matt, I'd be more worried about him facing him than him. Because I think you have got, you can keep it, together and box. But I think Ben is coming out, and you're coming to win.
He's the classic. I've never boxed before, but when I see red,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
when I see red, it's over. Yeah,
Just be on the back foot. If I was you, watch out for him more than him.
yeah.
But you're both coming to win.
I'm looking forward to it though. Should be a good laugh.
You got 3 minutes. Just remember 3 minutes.
It's a long time.
For some people, it is. Yeah,
It's a long time. 3 minutes. Let's not say two. I've been training all week for
That's what I
3
say,
minutes.
I've
Maybe
been
one
seeing
day.
your videos. He's lifting weights.
Straight up the gym after.
Talk about Eddie Hall with that power. If you
Yeah.
land clean. Ooh.
Yeah, if I get a win this weekend, me and Eddie Hall could be setting up for a little DAZN pay-per-view.
Yeah, they have to reinforce the ring for that one, I think.
Is this the road to world champion then? Are we starting the road? The series?
I think.
Do I ring up Netflix and Amazon Prime and go to them? Look, I've got a really good documentary potentially here that we could film.
I'd save your minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Save
wouldn't-
the time.
Yeah, maybe not.
So no one, realistically talking now though, you cannot win the fight. It's 3 minutes. There won't be a winner at the end of it.
No,
You
it's
just,
just a
It's
spot.
just
He's
sparring.
He's just.
so you won't win.
There's no winner.
What's
but
the
it's-
point?
Well, I suppose if
If you're Ben turning up, Ben's coming for the win. So
yeah, no. What's your message for Matt? We'll send him a clip. What's your message for him?
Yeah, like I said, I'm just surprised he's willing to put his 4-0 record up against me. But I'm coming in like Rico Verhoeven, very much someone not much experience, but you have to shock the world.
Forrest Gump style.
Yeah. My message for Matt would be, stay switched on, mate. I'm like Mr. Tickle. You could be in Brislington, I could be in Filton, and I'm still catching you with a jab. That's how long these arms are. Be careful. You got to stay diligent.
So you're Mr. Tickle Hill. What's your nickname?
I don't know if that's the nickname I want to go for. I don't know if
I
I
won't
like
message that. I won't message
I
that.
don't know if they'll let him in.
His boxing nickname is Mr. Tickle. No, maybe not. Maybe not.
You're older than Matt as well, probably. So yeah.
I don't know actually, but yeah.
What's your nickname? The Meathead? Are you going with?
The Merthyr Meathead.
Merthyr Meathead, I was.
Yeah.
Oh, we can we have got from, if you haven't watched it, this was from a long way back, but still actually probably one of my favourite episodes we recorded. We did the
Sit Down with the Voice of the Veil.
yeah, sit down
Jonathan.
with the ring announcer Jonathan Millard, and he done live on camera for us some nice
What was your
entrances. So
nickname?
it would be nice. I was the sniper.
The Sniper.
I think so. I was the sniper, long distance, isn't it?
What are you doing? Just standing outside of the ring when he comes to the ropes, just come from nowhere.
Yeah, hide in the bushes outside, catch
Get
him while he comes in.
before the spar. I see.
Yeah, soften him up a bit.
No, I hope it goes well.
Thank
Hope
you, mate.
you don't get hurt. I don't want any broken noses, man. Because
No.
we're actually graduating in a couple.
Well,
of weeks,
this is the thing: is as you guys know, I did fracture my orbital bone.
Yeah.
Not like
But you got a head guard.
that long
Is it
ago.
head guards or no?
Yeah, but still, broken bones don't like being punched. I've heard. Rumor
Okay.
has it. So we'll have to wait and see. But either way, if anyone's watching, listening, who love us, hate us, indifferent about us, tune in on Saturday to watch us.
The
Have a
ultimate
little
hate watch.
have a little fun
Come on,
You're
with
gonna be
Matt.
loving that.
Come on, Matt.
Our predictions, not for our fight, for Bam Rodriguez. We'll finally. I mean,
But let's get back to boxing.
we've not been that subtle
'Cause
around.
we went off record there a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah,
sort of
off the plan, but
a bit more comfortable
for
speaking.
for Bam, is it a case of how he wins rather than if he wins? Is that really where
Yeah.
we're at with this one, or do you think that's a little bit disrespectful to Vargas?
No, I see Bam winning by stoppage. I'd have him rounds 7 to 10 stoppage win.
I think he is one of those fighters that it's accumulation of punches, isn't it? Is the kind of is his specialty, and I think like you say that does lean itself quite well to a mid to late stoppage. But then we
Yeah,
did
I
see
think
it was the Martinez fight, wasn't it, where he was outboxing him and then he coaxed him in, and he set up that one shot finish that was. That was that highlight reel stoppage, and he's got that in the locker.
filmed by Jared.
But I think
Who's
in
been
this
on the
one, yes,
podcast.
of course, yeah. I think in this one, it'll be a case of just, box smart, outbox him, and then maybe look to put the gas on late.
I think a late stoppage, yeah. And then for you two, I think if you come back to the podcast next Monday without a black eye, or a broken nose
I'll take that.
or bruises, I think that's a victory.
I think if Ben lasts the 3 minutes, that's a victory.
It's 3 minutes.
If the
3 minutes. Mate,
if the tank lasts.
You're gonna
Let's
be
not
shocked.
talk you down now. You are coming for war, as far as I'm concerned, on Saturday. If you don't win, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah, fair enough. Otherwise, obviously, we'll be back next week. Hopefully, we'll be back next week.
Imagine. Can I just say, what happens to the podcast if...
You'll do it on your own, mate. You'll do it on your own.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, obviously we'll be back next week to review Bam Rodriguez and maybe talk a little bit more about what that Inoue fight looks like. Other than that, obviously big boxing always, every single week, back with the review shows and preview shows twice a week, all that good stuff. Thank you all, as always, for tuning in. I'll see you all next week.